Hey, welcome. My name is Daniel, and this is Metal Sharpens Metal, the place where I analyze heavy music from a Christian worldview. And today we're going to get back to Meshuggah. You knew we were going to be back eventually. People have been asking for the Shugs. And this song in particular came up a few times. It's called the Abysmal Eye, not the Abyssal Eye. That's a common misconception, in my head at least. This is their Bloodstock live version. I already know it's going to be fire because they play perfectly live, and everything they do live is immaculate, and the sound is crystal clear. It's so good, and I'm ready for this. Never heard the song, looked through the lyrics, and I have thoughts. Surprise! But yeah, I hope you enjoy this one. Let's go jump in. We'll just give it that old 1440 treatment. There we go. Everything's ready. Okay. They just start with such impending doom. No banter, just bangers. And then they're like, oh, you wanted a little melody? Sure. This is what you get. Terrifying lead lines. Credulity. Wait. Just real quick. It sounded like Thomas left a snare out to intentionally just make you be like, "Oh, now, no," and then you get shoved off the cliff when you don't expect it. That. Too many chugs, no room for the snare. So they're good at just evolving the song slowly, like they're still doing the same chug pattern riff. Pretty sure it's close to the same. And then they just add little details, but the song hasn't changed much, right? They're slowly moving from one part to the next. Oh, that China. It's being beaten like a rented mule. Made that reference. I love when they do that. Down, and then they just slight pause, and then they make it a little more rational. But this is not. That sound made it sound like someone was creeping into my home. That was. Like, I felt like I wanted to look over my shoulder when that started. To have 5 guys get together and be like, we all want to make this sound this crazy, but still be this tight together is just amazing teamwork. Can't tell if this is a build or just a transition yet. It was a build. Hang on, I want to hear how Jen said that part again. Like his voice. Yikes. Alright, Thomas is keeping it in 4/4, but you always got to check yourself when it comes to Meshuggah. Meshuggah. That was so good. Oh boy, what was that? I know what it was. Like, you know, I'm mentally kind of prepared for Meshuggah, but I'm never fully prepared. I'm never spiritually prepared. Yeah, I am, I think, but that just blows my mind each time. Oh my gosh, I am so amped up. I might have to use my lawnmower at a greater than 20-degree angle today. I guess there's no more rules. Nothing matters, but yeah, that was bonkers. So in an interview with Thomas, he said that this one was about the rise of AI. He had been listening to an Elon Musk interview, and at least Elon sees this as a potential terrifying abyss of potential evil for humanity to deal with, or succumb to. Unfortunately, Elon is a rational humanist. He doesn't believe that God has a path outlined for humanity. So we should take large parts of what he says with grains of salt, but he's also a really smart dude, and he can accurately describe what is going on and what might happen in the future. So I wouldn't say this is pure crazy talk. I just don't fully buy it. But yeah, let's jump into the lyrics and get Thomas's take on it. So first of all, looking at Thomas's lyrics, it's always a lesson in using the thesaurus correctly. Amazing vocabulary, relentless and inexorable. You know, it's moving forward slowly, steadily. It's never going to stop. This menacing creation. He says with covetous verve and credulity. And this is such a fantastic line from somebody who's, you know, speaking English as a second language. And yes, I know what verve means.
Okay, sure. Right. So why don't you explain what that is to this so they can understand? Yeah, just explain what that is.
Explain what you think that is.
I did look it up to make sure that I would get it right. It basically means energy and enthusiasm in the expression of ideas, especially in artistic performance or composition. And if I may say, I believe that Meshuggah is extremely verve. They have great amounts of vervaciousness, extremely vervy art. Am I using that correctly? You let me know. But anyway, this line is one of the most awesome, pithy ways that I've ever heard AI described. We see it having credulity because of its deep and profound knowledge on the subjects, so we are inclined to believe it, and it seems to do so tirelessly, you know, the verve part. I mean, we can overlook a few made-up court cases and biographical hallucinations that it makes, surely. But yeah, in general, society sees AI as a vastly powerful tool.
The machine knows! Stop yelling at me!
Thomas wants to bury this knowledge. He wants to unlearn it ever existed. Unfortunately, Pandora's box taught us that once something is made, it's impossible for it to be unmade. I do believe that there's potentially a lot of knowledge that was lost in the past. We could lose a lot that we have today if the right catastrophe strikes, or if God simply wills us to not have it anymore. But usually when there's a memory of something that people liked enough, they will be motivated enough to try to recreate it. So it is really hard to unlearn things intentionally. And then he goes on to name it the great dismantler of our dominion. And in Christian theology, dominion takes on a really important meaning for humanity. God is the only one with true dominion over everything, but he also entrusted humans as vice-regents, or if you want to get back to fancy Latin roots, vicegerents, to steward this earth. We are to subdue it and to fill it, not in a burdensome way, but again, to steward it in a godly way as, helpers in the master's vineyard. And that's something we're going to have to decide for ourselves how to do with AI. It's a very powerful tool, like I said, and there's a lot of potential, but we have to steward that correctly, just like everything else in life. I don't personally think that it's going to lead to a catastrophic collapse like some think it could. There is a lot of money and energy spent on AI, and I think that the cheap access that we have, just at the touch of our fingers is going to be economically unsustainable eventually.
I know. I checked online.
I think it can be good for certain studies and collation of data, but as one Christian author put it, we have to know what to ask it. You have to come to the table with some background knowledge in order to get the most use out of it, or else you're going to be just turning off your brain and letting it do the lion's share of thinking for you. There are some godly ways to use AI, and I know he is still working his purposes in the midst of everything we encounter, no matter how scientifically advanced we think we get. I think this song does a great job of evoking fear and worry in the music and the lyrics. These guys are storytellers, and they like to be theatrical in certain ways. But I think I really appreciate Meshuggah because of the way that they get people to think about big subjects and get you to consider what might potentially lead to a dystopian future. Again, their solution isn't going to be the same as mine. I believe that we need to turn to Jesus, and that his gospel is going to go forth into all creation and make things right, make things new, and that's going to be the solution to not basically wiping ourselves out and living in horror every single moment like some of their songs describe. But yeah, I'm still glad that they're getting people to think about these things, and they're doing it in just a really well put together way. Lots of intentionality. Obviously, everything they do is intentional. So yeah, it's really cool art for sure. But if you are afraid of AI, go read a book, go touch grass, give thanks to God, and yeah, thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.